and welcome back to another episode of Sailing Oka Solo. Good morning, guys. We're just in Port Neville, which is about halfway down the Johnstone Strait. But we're just entering the more serious part. So far it's been just a straight line from Port Hardy. We spent the night in Alert Bay last night, but it was just a really quick stop, so I didn't do much filming because I was motoring against the current and just wasn't very nice out, just foggy and nothing really to film. So today we're actually going to try to make it to Quadra Island because I only have about 9 days before I'm late for school. So I think I still have about just about 200 miles or a little less to go. No wonder that was a bit of a pain to pull up. You can barely see the anchor. You can just see the tip right there. Apparently there's quite a bit of current in here. So we're headed down the channel. People often ask me, aren't you afraid out there in the remotes on your boat by yourself? And reality is, if I'm gonna wait for someone to come along, I'm never gonna go anywhere. So I have to work through that fear, and really, it's moments like these that make any hardship worth it. I want a life measured in first steps and deep breath taken in the fresh breeze of brand new seas. I want a life measured in welcome signs, each stamped with a different name. Please show me the streets of a foreign city that my feet have never walked upon. Perfume me in the smell of far away, strange voices teaching me new words to describe the dawn. I want a life measured in new horizons, in the places I haven't gone. Just rose the anchor. We anchored in this tiny little cove, just barely a little bit of a shelter from the northwesterlies in here. It's just started to calm down, but it's been blowing 25 knots or so all night, which like the holding was awesome. I can't complain. It was a bit of a pain getting the anchor back, but oh well, better than the opposite. So we're just I think 7 miles from Seymour Narrow. And this time, last time I motored through at 15 knots speed over ground. So this time we're actually going to try to sail through it and try not to motor at all. So we'll see what that looks like, because there's plenty of wind, as you probably hear. More or less slack tide right now. There's about 15 to 20 knots of wind, and we're cruising at 5 knots towards the Narrows, and the plan is to try to not use the motor, and it's looking pretty good. Looks like we'll be able to sail right through, and then we'll stop in Campbell River real quick to get some supplies, and then we'll get out of there as fast as we can. We're finally just transiting Seymour Narrow. There's the narrowest part just I'd say a 1/4 mile in front of us. There's currently 6.5 knots of current going the same way we are, so southbound through the Narrows. And we are traveling at 7.5 knots or so right now, so we're, I'd say, sailing at about 2 or 3 knots through the water, and then 7.5 over ground. we're drifting sideways at 8 knots. We're just about where I want to jibe and start heading down the channel. Not sure if the camera's gonna pick it up, but there's a pretty big tide rip right there, and it's kind of a big whirlpool in the bay just after the point there, so we don't want to go that way. So we're gonna jibe right now, basically. Watch out. We're at the tightest spot in the narrow, so there's a boat coming behind me and they probably hate me right now. Woohoo! We're doing 9.7, 10 knots. We're right on top of what used to be a ripple rock, so we're still traveling at 10 knots. Woo. Last time I was here with the engine, the diesel engine, and we were traveling at 15 knots over ground. So there's that big boat coming at me. I don't know if you can see how much leeway we're doing, but we're just cruising sideways. There's a perfect breeze to keep control, so that's perfect. These whirlpools, we're still doing about 10 knots. There it goes. We're almost, as soon as we're past the point there, we're basically done with Seymour, and it's now Discovery Channel, I think. There's still a lot of current in whirlpools, but it's nothing compared to what we just went through. It kind of feels like we're going really slowly, but we're still doing 7.9 knots, so we're basically doing 8 knots, and we're just gliding along. There's a little bit of a breeze, but definitely nothing like what we had earlier. We'll be at the dock in about 15 minutes, so it's going to be the challenge is making the entrance. Because of the current, we're going to be doing so much leeway. We don't want to miss it. And to add to adversity, there's the ferry coming in. Kind of forced in a weird position where I'm not sure if I'm going to make it into the entrance. I'm using more power than I've ever used. I'm using 80 amps. We're down to 50 volts, which is normally when I turn on the generator. It's actually a 50.3 volt right now, and it's dropping. Right now I only have 45 minutes at this speed, so I better make it in, otherwise I'm gonna have to turn on the generator.